Watch, though, there's a lot of teams that are calling the Brooklyn Nets reportedly. And frankly, every team in the league should probably be making a phone call. What's interesting is there was a few teams I think people suspected wouldn't be interested because why do they need to be, right? Like, that team that just won a championship, Harry. However, Mark J. Spears, Anscape's NBA writer, he said, hey, not so fast when he was on Sunday Morning yesterday. He said, don't count the Warriors out of this mix either.
The one team I'm telling you guys to just keep an eye on is the Golden State Warriors. Golden State could have the best package for both parties. Jordan Poole, Jonathan Kuminga, All-Star Andrew Wiggins, and former number 2 pick, James Wiseman. What the Nets want is they want a young All-Star or perhaps a future All-Star. They're all under 30. They also want picks, maybe the ability to swap picks. But if you can get those 4 players, if I'm the Nets, I'm very, very happy. And for Kevin Durant, the Warriors, they're very familiar with, and vice versa.
They are very familiar with each other, to put it lightly. To me, this makes no sense from the Kevin Durant perspective. Yes, I understand what Mark J. Spears is saying from the team's perspective. It makes a whole lot of sense because the Warriors have the young assets, some of those young assets. They can trade them away to the Nets. They don't blow up that core in doing so. They bring in KD. He allows that core to take it to the next level because we did see some cracks this season. Even though they won the championship, we saw some cracks this season where Draymond, Steph, Clay, they're not the players quite that they were in 2017 type deal. You bring Kevin Durant back into that mix, all of a sudden they all kind of collectively look like yesteryear together, and you can get away with maybe getting rid of the Pools or the Wiggins of the world, whatever Brooklyn ends up wanting on that front. It makes sense from a team perspective, Harry. Doesn't make any sense from a KD perspective to me. Why would that man want to go back there?
I don't know, but I will say this. When you look at it from an overall standpoint and the total picture, a lot of people may ask, why would the Warriors want to do that as well? But you look at the Western Conference, it's going to be stacked next year. You look at what Minnesota just did via trade and Rudy Gobert and bringing them over to add them to Karl-Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards. You look at the Los Angeles Clippers and what they're going to be with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George together. John Wall signing there, Reggie Jackson. They have the deepest roster in the NBA right now. And then if you have a Kyrie Irving get traded to the Los Angeles Lakers, now you have another big 3 there with Anthony Davis, if he can be on the court, LeBron James and Kyrie Irving. You look at Memphis, they aren't going anywhere. You look at the Denver Nuggets and who they're going to get back and Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray to go along with Nikola Jokic. You look at the Phoenix Suns. You look at the New Orleans Pelicans with Zion Williamson signing his max deal that he's just got. So the Western Conference, in my eyes, and then Luka, who just lost in the Western Conference Finals in the Dallas Mavericks, they're not going anywhere either. They traded for Christian Wood from the Houston Rockets. You look at the Western Conference and how stacked it's going to be. I actually would not mind seeing a Kevin Durant in Golden State. Now, there's 2 places I wouldn't mind seeing Kevin Durant. Golden State, going back to Golden State because they were so dominant. We got to remember they went to 3 straight finals, and they're going to compete at the highest level every time all 3 of those guys are on the basketball court. I say all 4 if you add Draymond. But the Phoenix Suns, if a Kevin Durant can go to the Phoenix Suns as well with a Devin Booker and a Chris Paul, that will be lethal as well. But when you look at the big picture and you look at the Western Conference and what it's going to be next year, Kevin Durant going to Golden State is not bad in my eyes.
It would be bad I think, from a fan perspective, in terms of their dominance. We've already seen it. We've seen Kevin Durant on that team. We know they go to every NBA Finals, and sure, the West is going to be a bit more stacked, but it's not going to be nearly as stacked as that team. Now, to your point, why would the Warriors want to do this when they just won a championship? Well, yeah, the rich want to still get richer, right? You can never be rich enough in most people's eyes. You can never have enough generational talent on your team. And that's why every team, including the Warriors, would be interested in doing this. Because, of course, KD makes every team better. Arguably still, the second best player in the league we'd probably put him at. He's in everybody's top 3 still, even here in his mid-30s now. And so, yeah, the Warriors, of course, are interested. But Kevin Durant left that team for a reason. He left that team, I think, in large part because, frankly, he was darned if he did and darned if he didn't. We gave him so much slack for winning on a team that had already won 72. He joined a stacked team. People didn't really want to give him the credit, even with the finals MVPs. He leaves to go do it on his own. Now it hasn't worked out. Now, of course, we're piling on him there. If he goes back, he's not going to get any credit ever for any of these championships because the Warriors just won one. We're going to go, oh, there's KD just joining one again. Now, what's funny is the teams that he had on his very short list in the Phoenix Suns and the Miami Heat. I mean, you are talking about the one seeds from each conference coming off this past season. So it's not exactly like KD's interested in going and rebuilding somewhere. But him walking into a team that just won the championship again, nobody's respecting that. And Kevin Durant, we know he cares what people say about. He cares so much he's got the burner accounts, Harry Douglas. That's how much he cares. That's why he can't go back to the Warriors. That's why. It's not up to KD where he goes, but the Brooklyn Nets, they're not going to trade him somewhere he really doesn't want to be. We never see that in this league.
But that's my thing. But what if the Brooklyn Nets just say, you know what? We're going to do what was best for our organization, and we're going to send him to Golden State because it's different from the first time around. You know, Kevin Durant, he decided to go to Golden State. If he just gets traded to Golden State, I think it'll be different. But we already seen the rapport that those guys had. It's not like he's going to go to a team and he's not going to have any chemistry with the guys that's there in Golden State. Yes, he might have to hash some things out with Steve Kerr and maybe Draymond, which I think they already have done. But I don't think it'll be as bad as a lot of people may think it will be if he go to Golden State.